What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday, and it is Falcons Daily on a Tuesday, of course. I'm CG, Craig Green. I am your host, and thank you again for tuning in. Thanks again for hitting subscribe and liking our videos and sharing them with all your Falcons family. So I want to chop it up with you guys here today and talk about four more things that are on my mind going into mandatory minicamp. Some of you, if you've been paying attention around the league, there's been some news going on surrounding some defensive players. Some of them are, a couple of them are well known, of course. First of which, Jalen Ramsey of the Miami Dolphins. Right now, he is currently in a parting of the ways with the Miami Dolphins, where he's being allowed to seek and find a trade. They're looking for that right now as we speak. And on the other player is Jaire Alexander formerly of the Green Bay Packers. Jaire Alexander was released on Monday by Green Bay, and he played his whole career there up to this point. Both of those players are going to be seemingly available right now. I mean, Jalen, a little bit more complicated of a situation because he is under contract to another NFL team. So you'd have to trade for him if you want him, or Jaire Alexander, you can just sign him as you would like. So for the Falcons, we have a spot we could use one of these two players, but I don't think we could get them both. So which one would you want on your team? If you were Terry Fontenot, Arthur Blank, anybody in the front office, who are you throwing your name into the hat for? Jalen Ramsey, not a spring chicken. He's not an old guy either per se. I mean, Jalen Ramsey is right around 30 years old. He's not exactly an old player. He's going to turn 31 in the middle of October or towards the end of October. But Jalen is 30 years old. Coming off of, maybe his worst season. And for him, he had 2 interceptions. So for him to have 2 interceptions and that's not being a good year, that's saying a lot. But again, I mean, he's someone who's produced time and time again. He was just made the richest cornerback in the NFL when he signed the contract with the Dolphins just a year and some change ago. But again, he has just been killing it really with the Jags, with the Rams, and then he went to the Dolphins via trade. So, if the Falcons want him, they're going to have to trade for him and pick up a good amount of that salary. So the only way I don't even know how that would work. But again, we're just talking, which one would you want? Do you want Jalen Ramsey with his big contract, with the years, the tread on the tires, but still performing at a high level? Or do you want Jaire Alexander, a guy who's a little bit younger? He only problem with him is just not staying healthy over the last couple years. 14 regular season games in the last 2 seasons because he's had a bunch of injuries, and that's part of the reason why they're going to let him go. But if Jaire can stay healthy, he can add a lot of value to a team. But, from a cap-friendly deal perspective, I mean, Jaire Alexander could be your guy, again, because he would have to be on a prove-it deal right now because, again, 14 games in the last 2 seasons is not the best availability, and that's the best ability you can have in the NFL is availability. So if you're not available to play, when the team needs you, then of course, you're not doing them any good and you become expendable. So that's why I think Jaire Alexander finds himself on the street right now as a free agent. But again, still a player who can perform at a good level when he is healthy. But that's the question on him. But which one would I rather have? I mean, I think Jalen Ramsey will cost a lot more money. Jaire Alexander could give you a little bit more promise, especially if you have a cap-friendly, team-friendly 1-year deal. That is, you'd have to put some incentives in there for Jaire in order for it to be a worthwhile contract. I mean, again, that's where you would stand with a guy like him. But Jalen Ramsey, again, you'd have to trade for him, pick up a good chunk of that contract, and hope that he wants to play it out and not get upset and not want to show up. So, but when all is well with Jalen Ramsey, I mean, he's a baller. He's an elite corner. We all know that. So, I would say give me Jair. On a 1 year prove it deal over having to trade for Jalen, picking up the contract, all that. It just sounds it's just so much more complicated. But talent wise, I would take Jalen Ramsey. Money wise, give me Jair Alexander. So right now the Falcons got about maybe $5 million to play with. I'll take Jair on a 1 year prove it deal. Maybe could you squeeze him in there for maybe $3 million and bump it up to $6? With $3 million in incentives. Who knows if you take that, but I think that's what I try to offer him. Next topic of discussion, y'all, is mandatory minicamp, which players were showing up on Monday to the Falcons facility in Flowery Branch. Actual on-field things are going to get going here today. One of the players everyone is curious about is, of course, Kirk Cousins. Again, we've been bringing him up time and time again over the last month and some change right here on Falcons Daily. But we have to ask the question, and it begs, will Kirk show up to mandatory minicamp? That's one question I would like to know. Is he going to show up there? If he does, he's being a good soldier, whatever, team player, yada, yada, yada. Maybe doesn't want to get fined, just whatever it is. If he doesn't show up, then the narrative could be, oh, well, he wants to be traded and, he's being selfish or whatever it might be. Who knows if he's going to show up? But those are some of the things that can, some of the narratives you may hear out there. But, again, Kirk has said it time and time again. He wants to be a starting quarterback. He believes he can be a starting quarterback in this league. So he's kindly asking the Falcons to find a suitable trade partner and let him go wherever he wants to go. But any deal the Falcons strike is going to have to be somewhat friendly to them. Again, they're not going to just let Kirk walk and then pay him his salary while he goes off to another team and they get away scot-free. So there's going to have to be some kind of compromise there, of course, with Kirk, with the Falcons, and whatever team he decides to go to. So, will he show up? We'll see. If he doesn't, he'll be fined until he does show up. Speaking of guys who we are expecting to see at mandatory minicamp, that's my guy, number 25, Magnum TA, Tyler Allgeier. He is going into the last year of his rookie contract. What are the options for Tyler Allgeier when it comes to the Falcons? Do you have 3 or 4 different options, right? First option is obviously you can re-sign him to a contract, right? That's what I would like to see happen. Second option is if you want to keep him but not ready to put pen to paper for a real contract yet, the next thing you could do is you could put a tag on him, like a franchise tag or a first a tender of some sort, like for a round, or I think it would maybe, I don't know, a 5th round tender or whatever it would be. I'm not sure how that would work, but you could put a tender on Tyler Allgeier. Basically makes him a restricted free agent. He can talk to other teams. The Falcons have the right to match whatever contract he would get elsewhere. The other options, which I don't think are really the ones I would like to see happen, trade him to another team and try to get some draft capital or something back in return, and then let the other team worry about trying to sign him, or cut him and lose him for absolutely nothing. I don't think that's going to happen either. I feel like the likely outcome right now, just looking at the Falcons salary cap situation, I think at this point in the game, I think the safest bet would be putting a tender on Allgeier, saying, hey, we want you to stay, but we understand if you want to go talk to other teams because we have Bijan, and at best it's going to be maybe, a 70-30 split of carries. So, I think that could be the thing that happens with Magnum TA. But hopefully they come up with a solution. They can maybe re-sign him for another 2 or 3 years. keep him there with Bijan. They can keep that 1-2 punch going because they really do complement each other very well. And I think Tyler Allgeier is a very valuable piece to the Falcons and their offense. Last topic, guys, are some of the players that we know are injured going into mandatory minicamp. First, which of those is, of course, the tight end Kyle Pitts. He's got that strained foot. How close is he to returning back to action right now for the Falcons? Don't know yet. But again, with the strain in the foot, really, because it's a foot, you have to be careful with that. We talked about that a couple days ago, where you don't want to re-aggravate it, doing too much too soon. And that really goes for any player who's coming back from an injury. But especially Pitts, because the Falcons have invested a lot of time and money in him, especially with that fifth-year option. So they're going to make sure that the unicorn is good to go before he puts his hooves on the grass. Now, next player on my mind in terms of injuries, Braylon Trice, our third round draft pick last year, who got injured against the Dolphins in the preseason. And, we missed him all season long. So how close is he to returning? Again, the last timeline we were given by Raheem Morris was training camp. He should be ready to go by training camp. We'll see if he's doing more out there in the field today and tomorrow for the mandatory minicamp. And I'm sure we'll hear some comments from Raheem later today as to what's going on with him. How much will he talk about it? Who knows? Again, they don't have to really talk about injuries at this point of the offseason, but the question will probably be asked. And also the other player, DeMarco Hellams, who was also coming back from an injury that kept him out of all of last season. Remember, he got injured in that same game with the Dolphins. Will he be ready to go as well? That's something that we'll have to keep an eye on as well. DeMarco Hellams, one of the players that we're looking for to provide some depth in the secondary at that safety position. He played pretty good in some spots, again, a young player still coming up. But again, Falcons see something in him. I saw something in him too. I thought he had some good moments. And again, when he's ready to go, I really think his re-addition to the DB room is going to be a welcome one. All right, folks, let's call it good right there for today. We will see you again on Wednesday. Please give me a follow on social media. My social media handle is Craig G Sports. That's CRAIG, the letter G, and the word sports. And also, while you're there, give Fan Arch Co a follow. You see him up there in the corner up there. It's Fan FANARCH Co. Give them a follow as well. And thank y'all again for hitting the subscribe button and tuning in to Falcons Daily. All right, y'all, let's call it good. We will see you tomorrow. Be kind, be great, sayonara, and buenos noches.